So stage 6, that's halfway through the red book. So halfway through unit 1. So in this chapter we saw two new tenses. So tenses, as we talked about, it's when a verb is happening. And up until this chapter, all the verbs we saw were present tense. They were happening now. So I walk or I am walking, right? So she reads, she is reading. Remember, we also saw that she reads and she is reading. That would be the same thing in Latin, right? There is no form of special form for is doing something like in English we have the helping verb is. Um, in Latin, it would be legit, right? It could be she reads or she is reading. You would never would say s legit is reading. That doesn't make any sense. That would be she is reading, right? So up until this chapter, we just saw the present tense. So I am doing something, I do something. This chapter has given us two past tenses, right? We talked about these, the imperfect tense, and in the simplest possible terms, it was doing something in the past, so it's incomplete action in the past or a process going on in the past. So was or were doing something is what we want to say for that for now. And we saw that in general, you recognize these by the insets of BA, the letters BA. Right? One exception for that, which we actually can see in that first line here, pugna, is erat. Remember, this is the exception to the BA rule. It has the A, just not the B. Right? So instead of BA, it's just A. Right? Also notice it's a completely different stem for to be. Again, to be, as we mentioned before, is horribly irregular, lots of different forms. Right? So erat is going to be was in the imperfect. And then the perfect tense, that's she did something, right? It's completed action in the past. And as I mentioned before, a good way to think of it, the distinction is like she was winning the race versus she won the race, right? If imperfect, she was winning. I don't know if she ultimately won the race. I just know that she was winning. The perfect tense gives us the conclusion of the action. She won. Okay, so simplest terms, imperfect was doing something. Perfect tense did something, right? The action was completed in the past. That's perfect tense. Perfect means complete. Perfect means complete, right? If your artwork is perfect, it's complete. You're not going to add another stroke to it. It's complete, right? So first of all, let's just underline all the verbs here, and we'll go through them. So ambalabat, torba maxima erat, gad erat, serwi edankila kibum, and mabant, multipastores panem vendebant, poeta recitabat, mercatra gratius contentium cum agricula habebat, mercatra ratus pecuniam postulabat, subitur agricula graecum pulsavit, vituperabat, pompiani redevant, ad auriculum migitabant, Clemens postquam clamorum audivet, pugnam vestinavit, Donum auriculum mergatorum superavit, ediforo agatavit, Pompiani auriculum fortem lauda verent. Okay. So the first verb, ambalabat, has a BA, right? So I know it's imperfect. I is imperfect there. Erat, we talked about that as the exception to the BA rule. So that is also imperfect. Amabant has the BA, B-A-N-T, right? So no, it's plural too, right? So that's imperfect. Mudebant, BA, it's imperfect. Okay, Rikatabat, BA, that's imperfect. Habebat, BA, that's imperfect. Pasulabat, BA, imperfect. Pulsawit, right? So the perfect tense. So as we talked about in the grammar presentation, you recognize the perfect tense by the perfect stem, right? So it'll use usually slightly different stem than the present stem. And the stem, again, is a part of a word to which we add endings. Right? And we mentioned that there are certain stem clues to the perfect tense. It won't apply to all perfect stems, but a lot of them will have one of these stem clues. And the one you're seeing in this chapter is the letter V. So a stem that ends in the letter V, so you have a V right before the ending, that's a clue that it's a perfect tense verb. right? And then the two perfect endings that we have seen in this chapter are the third person singular and plural. Third person singular, it, that's what we have with posawit, and then erunt, the very peculiar long ending for the third person plural. We'll get to an example of that at the end here. So posawit, perfect tense. Okay, so P. Utuparabat, that's BA, that's imperfect. Redebant, again, is imperfect. Ikatabant, BA, imperfect. Then wit, right? Perfect stem, how do I know? Well, the perfect stem clue, a V here. So it has a perfect stem, aldiw, and then IT is okay for a perfect tense ending, right? If you have erunt, like we do with the last verb here, that's easily recognized as a perfect tense. It, that could be a present tense ending too. So it's important to recognize that you have a perfect stem here, right? So that V is an important clue. Pesanawit, again, that is perfect tense. The V is a clue that's perfect. It, okay, superawit. The V again tells me that's a perfect tense verb. Ayutawit, again, perfect tense. And a lot of werunt, perfect tense, right? That one's especially easy because of that erant ending, right? So superat would be present tense. Superabat, imperfect tense. Superawit, now we have that V stuck in there before an IT ending. That's going to be perfect, right? So for this chapter, easy. Look for the V's, right? V plus IT or erunt, right? If it's VAT, it's not a perfect tense verb, right? It's got to be IT, right? And then all the perfects we'll see for now will have a V at the end of the stem. So VIT or VERUNT. Okay, so Clemens and Fro Ambalabat. Right, so Clemens is our nominative singular. He's doing the action. Of course, it's with declension. Third, right? So Clemens Ambalabat and Fro. So Clemens, something in the forum. So Ambalabat, it's imperfect. So it was doing something. From ambalo, walk, right? So he was walking in the forum, right? So ambalat, he walks, present tense. Ambalabat was walking, imperfect tense. Turba maxima erat in foro. So a maxima turba, a very large turba crowd, right? Erat was, right? Which of course is the exception to the BA rule. That's one I'll ask about a lot. What's the exception to the BA rule? So erat is the exception, right? That's was in foro, in the forum. So a very large crowd was in the forum, just like est, right? But it's was imperfect. Serwi at ankilai kilum amebant. So amebant, they were buying. Who were buying? The nominative plurals that we saw last chapter, right? Serwi at ankilai, the slaves and the female slaves were buying kibum, the accusative food. Right, still the same typical word order, right? The subject first, serwi and ankilai, and then amebant, the verb last, and everything else, in this case, a direct object, kibum, in between. Okay, so multi pastores panem vendebant, right? The verb last, vendebant, we're selling, right? BA tells me it's imperfect, so we're selling, who we're selling. Multi pastores, many bakers were selling panem, bread. Right? Panem, of course, is what case? Accusative, right? Accusative third declension. It's what's being sold. Poeta recitaba, a poet recitabat, he was reciting, right? BA tells B is imperfect, so he was reciting. Mercator Graicus, the adjectives like to come after the noun normally. So the Greek merchant, contentionum, cum agricula, habebat, right? Don't be thrown by other words, go right to the verb, habebat. He was having, for the imperfect, we could say, was having, okay, was having, I need a direct object, the accusative, contentionum. So the nominative, the mercator Graicus, was having, the accusative, contentionum, an argument, and then a prepositional phrase, with the farmer. Right? Don't be intimidated by a lot of words. Break them down. Get the verb. Habebat. Is there a subject? Yeah, mercator Graicus. So the Greek merchant was having. He was having what? Contentionum. All right. Then all you have left there is cum agricola with a farmer. Mercator Eratus. So the angry merchant. Pecunia pasalabat. He Pasula bat, so he was doing something. He was asking for, was demanding pugna, money. So the Greek merchant, or sorry, the angry merchant was demanding money. Subito Agricola Graecum possavit. So subito, suddenly, good word to know. Agricola, the farmer, okay, he did the verb possavit. Now it's perfect tense, right? So do not translate the perfect tense as was doing something, right? Never. Perfect tense did something. So suddenly the farmer possavit, he hit or punched Graecum, the Greek, right? Graecum, of course, what declension? Second declension, right? So suddenly the farmer punched Graecum, the Greek. Okay. Quad, we've seen as because. That's going to be because for the time being. You'll see later it can mean other things, but because for now. So because Graecus Agriculum vituperabat. So because, okay, the nominative now, Graecus, the Greek, was doing the verb. It's imperfect. The BA tells me that. The Greek was telling off Agricola, the farmer. Okay. Was cursing, was scolding, was telling off. Pompeiani redebant, the Pompeians redebant, imperfect. They were laughing. Could be laughing or smiling. Laughing seems to be the idea here. So Pompeians were laughing. And agriculum incetabant. So they were incetabant, imperfect, right? Were doing something. They were inciting, urging on the accusative, Agricola, the farmer. Clemens, postquam clamorum audivit. So Clemens, after he audivit, heard the clamor, the commotion, the uproar. Right? So not after he was hearing it, but after he heard. Right? Why is it important to be perfect there? Because something's going to happen after the hearing, right? That's why we have postquam. So after he heard, he did something. So I need the conclusion of the action. So an imperfect wouldn't sound right there. Right? So perfect tense, he heard, not was hearing, but heard. So Clemens, after postquam clamorum audivet, after he heard the uproar, ad pugnam festinavit, he hurried to the pugnam, to the fight. Right? So was hurrying. We got the end result here, right? He hurried to the fight. So festinavit, he hurried to the fight. Tandem, finally or at last, right? A very important word to distinguish from tamen, right? Latin 1 students always confuse these two words, right? You don't have to be one of them. Tamen, Tamen, that is, however, or nevertheless. Tandem, like we have here, is finally or at last. Right? Very different words. So tandem, finally, Agricola mercatorum superavit. So finally, the nominative Agricola did the verb superavit, perfect tense, so it's completed action. He overcame mercatorum, the merchant, right? The nominative did the action to the accusative. And he ephoro agatawit. So he agatawit, he chased him, understood, ephoro, out of the forum. Pompeiani agriculum fortem laudaverent. The Pompeians laudaverent, praised. Okay, not was praising, but it's perfect tense. Right? The V on the end of the stem plus that peculiar errant ending is dead giveaway here that's perfect. So the Pompeians praised the agriculum fortem, the brave farmer, or strong farmer could also be. Okay. Well, down here, an interesting picture, um, shopping for dinner. So kind of get the impression that the young lady in the middle here is shopping for her dinner, and she's gone past all the different animals to eat hanging. Uh, Might not like the view of that, but hey, it's just stone. And she says, "No, I'm going to eat her." So hopefully that's not what's going on there. Hopefully she's not thinking about eating that lady. Well, that would be terrible. And hopefully none of you get eaten during the week either. So I'll see you next time.